Today we're going to be going through our top 10 games for couples because
we're a couple.
There we go.
And we like to play games.
We've not practiced this intro before. So today, it's not a ranked list, right? This isn't in order from our least favorite to our most favorite or anything like that. It's just...
We enjoy all of these games. They're games that we probably want to play more often and that I think would be great for other couples to enjoy. We try to get a mix of some that are a little bit more difficult and some that are very easy to learn. So depending on what your interest is or what your partner's interest is, there should be something for you on this list.
And also, I know we get the question a lot, how do I get my significant other to play the game? We're not answering that today. If you want a different video about that, subscribe.
Oh, I thought we were going to do it a little bit.
I mean, maybe there'll be hints. You have to watch the whole video. Who knows? We don't know what we're doing half the time.
I want to. That's the exciting part. It's like novels. How do we get my partner to play this game?
Okay, maybe that will be in there then. So anyway, so we're going to be going through this list. Again, it's not in order. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And let's start with number 10. All right, so I'm going to be starting with number 10, and it's a game that you haven't actually played yet. But I think you could possibly enjoy it. Maybe.
Okay, we'll see.
You like puzzles. People like puzzles, and I figure why not have a puzzly game? Now, the game itself is not a puzzle, but you're trying to basically solve a mystery, and it's
It would be funny if there was just a puzzle on this list as the first option.
Right? Do
Jigsaw
a puzzle.
Puzzles. Yes.
Pick your favorite artist or scenery. It could be whatever you want. But no, my first game that I'm putting on this list at number 10, even though we're not numbering them, it's just the first one on the list, is Escape Tales series. And I only know of 3 in the series. There may be more at this point, but I know the original 3. And basically the way it works is that it's a puzzle solving game where you use an app, there's a board, there's a bunch of cards, and you're trying to figure out the clues and play along. And it's a good just co-op game and working together. And
does it feel like a bit like an escape room?
It's supposed to a bit.
Put down into a board game form?
Yeah, so it's like a simpler version. You can also play it solo because that's how I've played it. And it turns out D20 is not great at escaping rooms, so he needs help.
So you can play to each other's strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's you said so it's co-op, so we work together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a pretty simple game. There's several different scenarios. So on the side of this box, it says 180 to 360 minutes long. That's for the thing, right? You can take pauses whenever you want.
Is it easy to put away and get back out and figure out where you still are?
It's pretty small. Yeah, there's not much to it. As far as packing it up and taking it out, I mean, it's like a handful of cards, a small board, and then your phone, right? So you all have that. So really basic game. I think it's a good way to, again, if you're more comfortable running a board game system and your partner or whomever isn't, well, this way you can run the system. They can just try to solve the clues. Okay. So this way it's just like a puzzle solving thing and not necessarily a board game type game to have them
play.
Heavy
strategy or fighting against each other. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then you essentially your strategy is just can you figure out a puzzle?
Sure.
Right? You don't have to worry about mechanics or anything like that. So anyway, that's my number 10.
And number 9 is a game that I picked to put on this list because I thought it would make for a really fun date night because of the theming of the game. And it did make my list of my top 10 favorite games of 2024. So I particularly like it because it's a worker placement, but it's not too complicated. And that is Viticulture. So, I mean, imagine setting the scene and you have glasses of wine, maybe some charcuterie boards. I think that would be a really fun game to play kind of on that date night setting. So obviously with the game, it's a worker placement and you are making wine. So you place your little meeples in different parts of the winery so that they can go through the steps of making wine. And then you get points for selling different types of wine at the end. Out of all the worker placement games out there, this one isn't terribly complicated. Yeah. It doesn't have a ton of places to even put your meeples. And there's also an expansion.
There's several.
Yeah, so we haven't played any of those yet, although I've heard that we have them.
We have them, and one of us has played through them.
Okay, so. I don't remember that. But I still love the original game, but it does offer some expansions if you find out that you really like it. So I thought this would just be a really cute little game that you can play that, again, is not super complicated. It doesn't take a long time to explain. You are playing against each other, so you're both trying to make the most money by making the most high-quality wine. But it just felt like a very well-themed game night type game.
And it's a very, tactile game. So the components are nice, the meeples are nice, all that stuff is nice.
Very high quality.
And I feel like for a lot of couples or getting couples into board games, like that is a great way to kind of help out, right? Like if the whole experience is fun and like you said, the theming and the artwork, like just all the little things like line up, I think that really helps. So.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 8, we have a card game because I like cards and I like to play cards.
Me too.
And I like deck builders, and that's why we're going to be doing the Star Wars deck building game. Now, random fun fact about this game is that
Novels hasn't played this one either.
Novels has not played this game. That's not the fun fact though. That's just a bonus fun fact for you all. The actual fun fact is that I think it was supposed to be like a one and done game. Like they did it and that's it. And then I think it sold really well, so they did a second one.
So it's really popular.
Yeah, I mean everyone is kind of really wants Star Wars and they really want it to be a card game that is fun. And it turns out Star Wars is popular.
When you say deck building, would it be like Hero Realms, Star Realms? Oh.
Yeah, so not deck construction like Marvel Champions or anything like that, but true deck building on the table. It's really straightforward. It's a pretty light game. It's pretty easy. I remember I actually played it with Nelson all over on stream, and I went, Nelson, how do you play the game? And like on stream in 5 minutes, he taught me, and I was like, wow. This makes a lot of sense.
That's
like,
a good sign.
It's like a lot of deck builders, and there isn't like super heavy in the keywords or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. That's why I think it's just a good couple game because again, you can teach it pretty fast. Yeah. It's very, very simple. It's a good way to put a deck builder on the list, I think, because I think it's just fun. I think people inherently know cards and they like playing with cards, and it's good to have that. So,
how is this theming with Star Wars specifically? Does it?
It's pretty good.
To the movies pretty well?
It's pretty good. I would say SWU is always going to be better, in my opinion. But the artwork on the deck builder game, I think, is actually pretty good.
Oh, nice.
So I think it's pretty solid. And it's good. Like, you feel like a Jedi, right? Or you feel like you're in certain areas.
Do you get to pick a character to play?
In this box, I feel like there's only like a couple options. Okay. And that's it. I can't really remember because I only played it a handful of times. But, well,
it's nice to have at least one deck building game on this list.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Spoiler alert, that's our only one.
Or is it?
All right, moving on to number 7 is a game that I just discovered days ago, thanks to our visit to PAX Unplugged. And it is one that D20 had been trying to get me to play, but probably figured I wouldn't enjoy.
Because it's really good.
You played it at PAX Unplugged first 2 years ago, right? So we happened to see the table and had someone explain it to us. And they initially described it as a post-apocalyptic protect your base, you only have water as a resource type game. And I was like, pass. Yeah. I'm not going to like this.
He didn't sell it well to you.
So we started playing it and he kind of explained how it works. And I fell in love with the game very quickly. So this game is Radlands. And you might have a similar reaction as I did, or maybe your partner would have a similar reaction. So I'm just convincing you to give it a try. Once you kind of get into the theme and you're into protecting your base and attacking the other camp, the artwork is also really, really cool in this game. It's kind of neon and graffiti, and it just fits really well with the theming. The neoprene mats and like the little tokens that you can get as part of, I guess, the deluxe game are necessary, totally on point, and they make the whole game so much more fun to play. But at its heart, like, I probably learned the game in 10 minutes from him explaining it, and was able to pick up and like make decisions and move and take actions based on that alone. So it doesn't take long to learn, and there's not a lot, like we talk about, there's not a lot of keywords or times where we had to reference the rule book constantly. So you're able to really get into the game and just play it and see what happens. The goal of the game is to destroy the other person's base camps. So each of you have 3 base camps that you're basically protecting, and you can have cards that you play. So the game is like a card game that you're fighting against each other. But you have cards that you can play with different people on it, or raiders that you can use to try and attack the other person's base camp. And then, like I said, water is your main resource. So instead of like money or coins, you just have basically drops of water, which again fits in the theme really well and kind of made it really cool to play based on how much water you have and what you can do with that. It's a unique game. Obviously, I think on this list, it's not like cute and fun, but and it might sound a little strange, but I promise that once you kind of get over that hump of like, initially I'm probably not gonna like this, or it might seem a little too out there or sci-fi, it is a really well done game and a lot of fun to play against each other.
Yeah, and it's great talking with the components too. Like, I mean, the biggest thing with the neoprene mat is like it tells you when to move up the
True.
events,
It
right?
gives
And
you a
like,
very clear picture of how to play the game and like
yeah,
what steps you can do in your turn, whether it's saving water for the next turn or you could draw a card by placing your tokens in this spot. So from that perspective alone, if you're new to the game or if your partner is, having the mat is very helpful for figuring out what you can do on your turn.
yeah, and like you said with the theming, like I actually don't like that theme whatsoever, but I like bright
Just
colors.
hearing about it, you mean? Or
Just in
like in
general, I
general?
don't. I'm
Oh,
not a
okay.
big post-apocalyptic sci-fi guy. That doesn't really interest me. But bright neon colors do, and it pops, like it looks really good
I think
and
we probably played the game in like 30 or 40 minutes
pretty
with me
quick. Yeah.
learning it for the first time. So, I mean, we play again, it could probably take 20 to 30 minutes to play around. So it felt like a good middle ground between not some, Viticulture is very simple, very kind of easy to play. This was a little bit more complicated, it involves a little bit more strategy, but it's obviously not one of those heavy board games that's going to take you, over an hour to play. So I think it's a good middle ground, maybe for someone who already likes board games and wants to have a little bit more strategy involved. Makes it really satisfying, like when you can get hits on their base camp or if you would actually win. And, there is that element of you're fighting against each other and also desperately trying to protect your own base. So it was a really fun game to play together.
I think for number 6, we should do the one that maybe everyone expects me to do, and we just do it right in the middle to throw everyone off, and that's Marvel Champions. I have to, because I think it's a really good game for couples, and especially for this list because it's co-op.
I
Right?
allowed him to put this on his list too. I encouraged it.
I
I
was
thought it
given
was a good
permission.
fit.
Yeah. And again, like not everyone likes games where you're going against each other, right? So we talked about Escape Tales
True.
earlier, that you're working together to solve a crime. Well, that's fun too, but let's say that you want to play an actual board game, right? You want to play actual cards or whatever it may be. I think it's important to have a co-op in your rotation, and Marvel Champions does that. I think the deck construction process is pretty straightforward. I think it's not necessarily easy, but you can probably throw together a deck and do all right.
There's also plenty of options to look up online.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So you
there's a
do
ton of
not have to go
resources.
through that process at all yourself. You just, or if like your partner doesn't want to, you just find a deck for them to play.
And it's a incredibly thematic game. I think it's good. Like if we just talked about doing like a 30-minute game, well, this is closer to like probably like an hour and a half if you take your time, right? So it's a little bit longer of a game, but it depends how much free time you have. That might be something that you're interested in. So I think it's absolutely phenomenal game. The way it plays, I think once people play it and give it a shot, it's a great game. I think 2-player is one of my favorite ways to play it. Man, I like playing solo a lot, but I'm not as big of a fan of doing like 3 or 4-player versions of Marvel Champions. I like it for 2. I like it for solo, and I think it'd be a really just fun game to play with your partner.
It's exciting to work together to defeat a villain, and you are definitely doing just that. And we've also gotten a lot of questions about, how do I get this other person to play this game? So this is one of those areas where you can make it as complicated or as least complicated for them as possible. So depending on kind of where they're at, like D20 handles just everything in the game for me, especially at the beginning, where I just had to focus on how do I, punch the villain in the face, we like to say. So if you're worried that it's going to be too complicated for them, there are ways that you can just let them focus on certain actions and still be able to work together, to defeat the villain. You also can choose, like, there's certainly some heroes and some villains that are more complicated to play, so you can very easily choose the ones that are easier, that will take less time if you're concerned about that as well. Or you can, level up. The options are endless with this one. And it fits very well too. If they have a certain character that they like, then they can play that character, which makes it really fun for everyone. So I mean, I highly enjoy it myself, and it is one that we get to actually play together and has resulted in a lot of really entertaining moments together, or times where his character dies and it's all on me all of a sudden to take over, or we work really well together with some sort of attack, and it's just a lot of fun.
No, yeah, we get that question a lot. How do I get my significant other? It's not that it's simple, but I think the simplest way to do it is if you are the quote unquote expert in the game, run everything and don't explain what you're doing.
Yes,
there's
don't
no
over-explain
reason to tell her, hey, okay, right now there's guard on there with a patrol icon, and he's doubling up a resource because he has an acceleration token, and we haven't even gotten to him attacking us yet. Like, there's no reason to go into all that stuff. Just run the game and let them know how it's going to affect them, and then just say novels, punch in the face, and don't again, pick a hero you like and don't worry about them not running their hero efficiently. Like, who cares, right? Like, as long as they're doing what they want to do and have a good time.
What is it?
Matter.
No backseat.
No backseating. Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that. Try not to do that. So anyway,
Unless
that's our
they
biggest.
ask.
Yes.
Then it's okay.
After a couple of games, they may go, okay, how do I get good? And be like, okay, don't lay it on them completely then as well. Slowly introduce like different ideas and different things they can do instead of just punching things in the face. So.
And I feel like we've heard it maybe just takes a couple of time to get over that hump of like, what is going on? What am I trying to do here? Yeah. And I feel like once you cross that after 2 or 3 games, it does become like, it's a really cool game to play together.
Yeah. So highly recommended game at number 6.
Since we just went over one of your all-time favorite games that you're probably most known for.
You're also doing Marvel Champions.
Yeah, wow. Wouldn't
crazy.
That be a fun
2
top 10 list with like a double? Back to back. Also play Marvel Champions. I figured for number 5, I would have to pick one of the games that I love the most that maybe I'm known for since I win most often.
Okay. Talk about a co-op game we play together and you're really going for it.
We're back to a game where you're fighting against each other. But this game is Unmatched, and I have been blown away by how much I've gotten into this game this past year. There are tons and tons of expansions or different types of this game. Yeah. So you're basically playing as a character and you have a small deck of cards that you use to take a couple different actions. So either moving around the board, playing an event card that helps you out in some way, or fighting against the other character. And the goal is simple. You just want to get the other character's life down to 0 so that you can win. The way this game really shines is its simplicity. It's very simple to set up and tear down. The rules are very simple as well. And even your deck of cards that you're playing with probably has, what do we think, like 8 to 10 maybe different type of cards in there for each character. Yeah. So it's very easy to get familiar with your cards and find out what you're doing. So you're not constantly like, what does this card mean? Let me read through it. And the characters are probably my favorite part of the game because as a reader, they have a ton of literary characters that you can play, like Sherlock Holmes, the Invisible Man.
She likes dinosaurs.
You can also play as Jurassic Park characters. They just came out with The Witcher. There is tons of Marvel characters. So I feel like this is a way to expand beyond kind of the typical characters you might see in board games. So they're recognizable in pop culture, but they're not just like Marvel characters or something, or superheroes. So there's a lot of and really fun different types that you can play, and the theming is incredible. So the actions that you can take, even the design of your cards, fits so well with the different characters. It doesn't take long to play. I mean, like 20 to 25 minutes maybe to play a game. So it's very quick to pull out if you don't have a lot of time or you don't feel like sitting down to like a really heavy board game. But it definitely has the board game feel where you're moving around the board with your characters and, attacking the other person. But this is one of my top games of all time and just a really fun one, I think, for couples to play.
And as you get more, you can mix and match, which is really cool. So like it literally can be I am Shakespeare
playing against
a T-Rex. And like that's kind of hilarious. So like if you want to have like a good time, like, or actually it really should be like Bruce Lee, because I think Bruce Lee could take a dinosaur.
Could take it. Yeah, I mean you can find out.
Yeah, exactly. So
where else can you find out if that would happen?
Put in the comments. Could Bruce Lee be a dinosaur? Because I think it could.
I think a dinosaur would definitely win.
No,
my gosh!
He invented Jeet Kune Do. He could kick that dinosaur in the face and knock it out.
But the dinosaur can just like bite his head.
You can't catch up to Bruce Lee. He's too fast. Cameras literally can't keep up with him. He moves too fast. He had to slow down his movements for his movies.
Yeah, but a camera isn't a T-Rex.
Yeah, they're faster.
Yeah,
It's a great game. Highly recommend.
Love Unmatched.
Does your partner like birds? Because if they do, you should play Wingspan.
That was so weird.
No,
I did not know that was coming.
It's a great selling point.
We do. I mean, we do like birds.
I know. Birds are hilarious. So I am talking about Wingspan, which I think is a really good game. The artwork is gorgeous.
It's very pretty.
It's very pretty. And we talked about this before with tactileness.
The components are cool.
And they got like eggs.
There's eggs.
And then you got little eggs. Don't eat the eggs, not candy. But you could make it candy.
You could use those little Easter eggs, the pastel ones.
Yeah, or jelly beans. Yeah, which will also be good.
That makes for a fun date night when you can actually eat the food.
When you can eat your board game. And your opponent's not paying attention. Just, wait, I thought I had 4 eggs. Says you have 2. So, Anyway, Wingspan is a tableau builder where basically you're trying to collect birds for your aviary. It's a really kind of dark game when you think about it because you're just like capturing all these birds out of their natural habitat and
No, but then you
shoving them
get
in your
to
area,
you
and
get to
then
watch them.
and then
The birds are happy.
you're forcing them to produce more birds. It's a really weird game when you think about it too much, but
Fine.
it's a really good game. It's really fun. The artwork's good. They have like a little dice tower that's like a birdhouse, and you dump your wooden dice down, so it's got a good feel to it because it's not like the normal dice, right? So it feels a little bit better. You're collecting food and all this different stuff, and you're building out your little engine. Now, there is a spiritual successor to it with Wormspan.
Oh, I was going to do something for that. I was going to be like, does your partner like dragons? Then try Wormspan. You messed it all up.
Yeah, no, I did. So but just imagine that was in there and really good.
I have not played Wingspan,
No, we have
but
not.
it is like the number one goal for 2024 to get to try and play it.
Maybe
So basically,
2025.
it's
Who knows?
Wingspan with dragons.
Yeah.
But you haven't played it either yet.
No,
Yeah, so
no.
neither of us have played it. Wingspan is great by itself, but if you want to kind of take it to the next level and go dragons, Wormspan is also available. We have heard that it improves upon Wingspan, makes it a little bit more complicated with the gameplay. So
And
you kind of
streamlined
got
too, I think. Yeah.
two options there that are good depending on like what you want out of a game. So I think in tandem, those are both great recommendations, and we would enjoy both of them if we ever get to play it.
Yeah. And with Wingspan too, they have a couple of expansions, and one just
yeah.
adds more birds, which is cool.
More birds.
Who doesn't want more birds?
If your partner really likes birds.
They really like birds. If they like European birds, there's European birds. If they like oceanic birds, there are oceanic birds. And Asia might be the last
Is
one.
that mostly what the expansions are? Just like new birds?
The first one is European
Okay.
and like more like those bonus scoring cards or
Yeah.
whatever. The other one adds so like you have like the food tokens out there. They
Yeah.
add like a wild token, so
Okay.
it could be like anything, obviously.
Nice.
And the one
I
after
feed
that,
those birds.
I mean, yeah,
Right.
some birds just like any food, right? They'll just take anything. They don't really care. And then there's another one. I forgot what the last one does. I haven't really kept up on it. We might own it. I'm not sure. But yeah. So anyway, I think it's a really just like nice, lovely game, easy to play.
I was going to say,
Doesn't take
it's probably the most aesthetically pleasing game on
Yeah.
this list.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, that is my number 4.
At number 3, I have a game that is a take on a previous game we've played called Seven Wonders Duel, but it takes it to the next level, particularly for Lord of the Rings fans, and that is Lord of the Rings Duel. So this is a game that we just got to play for the first time, and we both really loved. I personally love Seven Wonders Duel. I had it on my top 10 list, but this is much better.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, we are Lord of the Rings fans, so that definitely helps. The game is very well themed for anyone who likes Lord of the Rings as well. But it is a game that you're playing against each other, and it has a set number of rounds, so you kind of know how long the game is going to take, which can be nice for some people because they want to know exactly what to expect from the game. Yeah. So you know you're going through 3 rounds to get to the end, and then you have a winner. There are also multiple ways to win the game, which is an aspect that I really enjoy because you have to kind of keep track of multiple different things as you're going throughout the game. So with Lord of the Rings specifically, the one really neat component is the hunt to get the ring or get the ring to Mordor. So one person plays as the Fellowship, one person plays as Sauron. So you've got that, animosity against each other. And one of the ways you can win is for the Fellowship, like Sam and Frodo, to get the ring to Mordor, or the Black Riders to catch up to Sam and Frodo as they have the ring. So you kind of move those components along this track, which is a really, really neat component that they created specifically for this game that's kind of unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It's like an acrylic ruler almost.
Yeah.
It has like several sliding pieces. It's really cool.
Yeah. It's worth it for that alone, honestly.
Yeah, it really is.
We love that part. But so that's like one way you could win, or you can try and conquer a little map of Middle Earth. So there's, different spots where you can place your units. And if you manage to conquer all of Middle Earth, that's another way you could win. Or you can try and like form alliances with different groups of people in Middle Earth. So there's 3 different ways, like I mentioned, and the game ends instantaneously if any one of those conditions are met. So it's kind of it could happen at any time, and you're constantly keeping track of not only your own strategy, but also what your opponent is doing so that you can thwart their options sometimes to allow them to like not get something that they might want. And the gameplay is unique from anything else because like there's obviously a little map that you're placing units on. There's this tracker for the ring and, the black riders. But then there's also cards that you kind of build out into almost a pyramid shape over the 3 rounds. And you pick up a card to basically choose your action for that turn. So it goes back and forth very quickly. It's not a lot of strategy, like thinking through, okay, I have this in my hand and then this I can play there. You can basically do like one action each turn. So it's pretty simple in terms of what you're actually able to do each round. So it's very easy to understand and get into and like quick to play, but very well themed and kind of a unique board game on this list, I would say.
It's also, I think, one of the few games on this list that all the information is open on the table, right? So like we're not holding cards in our hand and like your partner doesn't have to worry about like, oh my God, like am I making the right play or whatever. Like you can be friendly and be like, hey, just FYI, you could have done this or whatever. Maybe they don't like that and you don't have to, but it is one of the few games that has that, which I think is interesting. And to allude to what you were saying earlier, there's 3 rounds essentially, and the first round is like very basic. Like it's very basic. And the second round is like a little more complicated. And the third round, it ramps up fast. And it's a cool building, like, okay, you're getting more into it. Yeah. And it's a cool feeling throughout the game.
And then all of a sudden you're scrambling to try and win or prevent him from doing this or something else. So you're right. It does. I forgot about that part. It does get a lot more exciting as you go through the game.
Yeah. No, it's an absolutely fantastic game.
Number 3.
All right, so this is the last one I'm doing on this list. Number 2. It's my favorite to say. Hanamikoji. I don't know why I love saying that so much.
That's important.
It is important. If you're going to have a good date night game, you should enjoy the title of the game you're saying, right? Like Unmatched. Like that sounds weird because we should be matches and now we're Unmatched versus Hanamikoji. So anyway, Hanamikoji's it's a 2-player only game, and you have 7 or 9, I forgot how many geishas out on the table, and you're trying to win their favor. And basically you collect a group of cards, and each person has 4 actions they can do, and these actions include like discarding cards or giving your opponent cards where they can pick what they play on their side and they pick what you play on your side, right? And after you go through all these actions, all the cards are played. You count up how many each geisha like has the most favors. So like if you have 2 cards on one side and I have 1, you would win that, right? And you keep going until it equals like 11 points or like the majority of geishas, right? Whichever it is. So the gameplay is pretty simple. It's fun. I really like that aspect of like, I'm passing you cards for you to decide what to throw away. And then there's like a hidden card. And you're like, what could it possibly be? Because most of the information's out there on the table. And you're just kind of like waiting to see, what ones you're playing. So I think it's kind of a cool way to just play a card game together. Again, it's more... A lot of times people will complain with board games that they're not very interactive with the other person. Like you're playing in your own little silo, and because I'm handing you cards all the time and vice versa, there's more interaction to it. And I think that's pretty cool. So.
It's also like, what, this big?
The box?
Is it that big?
It's that big.
I was gonna say it's fairly tiny.
The geishas are big. That's why.
Okay, but we've brought it along like on trips with us before, so it's a great option if you're like going on vacation somewhere and you want a game that you can throw in your suitcase to play. It doesn't take long to play, so again, it's a very quick game, but you still can play it multiple times. So I feel like we've sat down and played it like 5 or 6 times. Yeah. Because it's just fun to see what happens, and you kind of never know how it's gonna play out. So it's very quick, but it's very repeatable. So yeah, it's been a good one to have, especially if we're traveling somewhere. We just want to throw a game in our bag. So we like that aspect of it too.
Yeah, since it's played over a series of rounds where you reshuffle each time. So like if you have like a great round, like you're not knocked out right away. Like I have to make up ground, sure, but like because we're getting a new set of cards and a new strategy and whatever, you can kind of redo it and try to catch back up. And there's no real limit in how many rounds it can go. It's just whenever you win the game, you win the game type thing. So I also like it from that aspect because sometimes in games there's like runaway winners, right? And
you're just kind of waiting for the game to end. Like, you're gonna lose.
Let's end this. Yeah. So I like that aspect of it as well. So anyway, that's the final on my list at number 2.
The last game for couples that we're gonna recommend today is another game versus game, but it is based on Yahtzee. Of all things. So it is very simple to learn. If anyone's familiar with how Yahtzee works, you're rolling dice to take actions in this game. This game is called Dice Throne, and there are tons and tons of expansions. So again, kind of like Unmatched, where you have a lot of different characters you can play. Dice Throne is very similar. You basically you pick a character, have their board in front of you, and depending on what dice you roll, you can take different actions to try and get your opponent's life down to 0.
Health, yeah.
So what do they have? They've got Marvel ones. They've got some more generic, like a moon elf or a barbarian.
Because they have like their own IP,
characters.
so they had like 2 or 3 seasons of their own IP.
They like right now during Christmas they have a special for Santa versus Krampus.
Yeah.
And it's only available during the holiday season. So if you want to jump on that, make sure you do that now.
I think we're doing that.
Really?
I don't know. I was just trying to convince you to buy all of them.
Also, we're going to put the links to the games down below in the description, right?
Yeah, editor will do that. Sure.
Oh, great. Yeah.
They're really talented.
Editor.
They're really talented, really good.
So if you find any of these games that you want to get, you can just buy them from below and help support this channel along the way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm excited about like the Santa one. They also have kind of a Halloween themed selection with like a pumpkin head and like a werewolf.
Something like that.
So they've got a lot lot of variety.
A Raveness. I remember that one. Right. The guy talked about the Raveness for a while.
We just played this at PAX Unplugged too. So good. Recency bias. Yeah. But again, it's pretty quick. I feel like that's a common thread through my games is that I don't like when they take a ton of time because I like to be able to just like pull them out and play them and then put them away. And probably some of you have partners that want to do the same thing. So this one is really fun just because of the variety of characters, but also there is that just like Yahtzee component to it. So you don't know what you're going to roll, but you have 3 rolls that you can do each round to try and make the best decisions, but you've got a little bit more strategy because you're trying to decide what different actions to take. And it also has, like, in addition to just attacks, there's kind of like little bonuses or penalties, like in terms of tokens that you can add to the other character or keep for yourself that might benefit you or hurt them. So each character plays differently because of those changing aspects as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
And it's also easy to like kind of pick up and remember because like the best thing you can roll is a Yahtzee. They call it something else, but it's all a Yahtzee. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you can also have like, I think every hero has like a small straight, right? And
a large small straight, large straight. So it's like 3 of a kind, do one thing.
Yeah. So
learning the rules is so simple.
A full house, I think was another one. But like, it's simple, right? So like there's only like a couple of spots. Like the defense ones are always like a little weird sometimes or like how it triggers. And there's a lot of like iconography, but it's really simple because there's only like 3 icons and that's it. But it's just inherently easy to pick up and remember. Like even if you haven't played the game in a while, you're like, dice, Yahtzee. This
also,
is
each character comes with their own set of dice, which are like colored and themed with different objects relating to that character. So I think that's fun to play also.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of rounding out the list with something a little bit simpler. It's a lot of fun as you're kind of rolling. It's got, more excitement since you're like rolling dice and you don't know what's going to happen. You're not in complete control every time. So it's a little bit of luck, a little bit of strategy. I think it's a good one to round out a list of the top 10.
And rolling dice is fun. I've talked about this many times on the channel. Everyone loves rolling dice. But hopefully you enjoyed this top 10 list. Let us know your thoughts down below. While you scroll down, make sure to hit the like button, turn on notifications, and all that fun stuff. Leave comments.
Yeah. I was going to say, if there's any games that you really like to play for couples, let us know as well, because we're always looking for new games to try.
Yes, we want to buy all the games. Yeah. Anyway, appreciate you all watching this, and we will see you next time.